This episode of the Damage Guild podcast is sponsored by listeners like you. Join the guild at patreon.com/damageguild to receive exclusive perks, member rewards, and bonus content.
Last time on the Damage Guild podcast.
You finally emerge on the other side of the mountain, overlooking an expansive landscape below. Nothing at all grows within a few miles, leaving only a barren, muddy waste.
This land is ravaged.
Is this the future of Fosdale?
You see several enormous chunks of earth drifting through the sky. You can make out a few settlements.
What if we'd send Mr. Crowley out?
It's about half-mile drop off this ledge. The only path you find to descend is a rope.
Well, I, for one, shan't be climbing down a half-mile-long rope.
Yeah, I feel like we want to see what we can see from up here. Make a decision here, right, guys? Like whether we're going to go or not.
Indeed.
Certainly before we go any further, yes.
I mean, we have an excellent scout.
Yeah, exactly. So I was going to say earlier, before we even get to the point of sending Mr. Crowley off the edge of the world, apparently, using him to fly around up here, using shared senses. So I think I'll do that.
Yeah, and maybe you might even see a different way to get down, but maybe there isn't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, the first thing to investigate would be the platform and the cliff that we're on. Maybe he can even go fly down like along where the rope is and kind of plot the course and see what it looks like on the way down and then fly out from there.
Yep, exactly. So I'll have him do that. I'll have him check out the sort of the length of the rope and then fly around the outside of the plateau to see if there are other ways down or just other things to notice that might be helpful if we want to descend.
Okay. It is still late at night, so the moons are bright, but it's still kind of hard to see a whole lot of detail.
Mr. Crowley does have low light vision.
Okay, so I guess he can see all right. Actually, he's got dark vision right now, you gave him.
Oh yeah, I gave him dark vision, by the way.
Hey-o.
Okay, so he can see fine. So you send him to scout the surrounding areas. It looks like this ledge is by far the largest. You don't see any other big ones along the mountainside like this. You do spot several other smaller ones that have like remnants of ruins kind of on them, so it looks like there were other things that went into the mountainside here.
Like a Petra type deal, where there's like buildings, like structures built into the mountain?
Yeah, basically. And as for the rope coming off of your ledge, it has several stages that it goes down, but it's like 100 to 300 feet in each step until it finally gets to the bottom.
Do you guys know how long a half a mile is in feet? It's 2,640 feet.
That's a lot of steps.
It's a substantial climb, Verrol. I agree.
A substantial number of feet.
It's a substantial fall.
It's a substantial number of feet by which to be stranded from our home.
That too.
I think if we camped, maybe back inside, we're learning so much. I mean, imagine what this looks like during daylight. I wish we had what was his name, Verrol? The cartographer guy. Starburns.
Yes, Master Starburn. Good old Starburns.
Kardain, you don't happen to have any magic that would allow us to, say, float down to the ground, would you?
Actually, that's a great question.
What do I look like, a mage?
I do know all of the different level 1 primal spells. That's true.
I see.
I'm not sure if there's one that helps this, though.
Yes, primal, air, concentrate, gentle landing.
Gentle landing is a level 2, is it not?
It's level 1.
It is a level 1.
And it's primal.
It's one creature within 60 feet.
Targets one falling creature.
Yeah, so it's reaction speed, which is fast, so if I see a creature within range and they're falling, I could rescue them.
The target's fall slows to 60 feet per round, and the portion of the fall during the spell's duration doesn't count when calculating falling damage.
Oh, no, it's huge. Yeah. It could literally rescue somebody, so that's not a bad idea. The thing is if we're replacing some or all of my spell slots with a utility spell like that, I would really hope for us not to get into combat. I'm trying to see if there's something else.
I would say maybe 2 castings of it would be hopefully enough.
Do we think 2 of us are going to fall checks? Here's my thought. If that's what we're doing with my loadout, I feel like I might as well just all my slots do that and we try to make camp. You know what I mean? Like, my hope would be we don't do combat. But I can pretty much guarantee that if somebody does fall, that's a good thought. This is a good thought. Yeah, I mean, the Primal spell list has a bunch of random tools like that can be very situationally helpful.
Kardain, perhaps you might summon a team of stonemasons of your race to carve us out a set of stairs by which to descend and ascend.
Well, it's funny you say that, because I can make a ladder, I can make a staircase.
Can you? By magical means, I assume?
Yeah, by magical means, but it's only a maximum of 40 feet.
Ah, I see.
Pretty limited.
So, 2,640 feet divided by 40.
Yeah. That's my next question is, did Brian figure out if there's something worth, like, going up to?
Going up is just towards the mountain peak. I mean, there are a couple of other, like, entrances, it looks like, in the mountainside. You're not sure if any of those actually go very far inside, because it all looks pretty ruined.
How high up is that from us?
The peak of the mountain? Or...
well, where are those settlements again? How high up from us?
Not settlements, just openings, like cave openings.
Openings, yeah. But they look like they were carved for people to live in, right?
I mean, there are various ones. They have, like, little structures built into the side. Like, the one that you have right now, I said, has a portico there, which is basically a roofed area supported by pillars, like a front porch without walls. And you see some similar but smaller ones, and they're just scattered around. The nearest one's probably still like 300 feet off, kind of diagonally.
Whoa.
So these are spread out all across the face of this cliff.
That's something that Mr. Crowley could inspect with sheer senses, right? What's the range on sheer senses?
Long. I forget exactly.
Like a mile.
So you could fly in there with Mr. Crowley and check these little hovels out.
Yeah, that's true.
With a mere 66 castings, you could create a staircase from here to the bottom.
Yeah.
Food for thought, Master Dwarf.
Yes.
There doesn't appear to be a range limit.
No range limit, it's just that it's 1 minute out of every 10.
All right, so how far and fast can Mr. Crowley fly in that much time? Because I guess if the spell ends, he could just fly back to you, and you're no longer sharing senses, but it's not like he, like, drops dead.
Right, exactly.
So as long as you can get to what you want to look at within the spell's allotment, it's not too big a deal. Unless it's dangerous.
What is your thinking behind wanting to investigate those things? Are you thinking they may be inhabited?
It's not that they're inhabited. I just feel like... well, so maybe I'm misunderstanding the mission. I thought that we are information gathering, so we have stuff to bring back and report to inform, like, what do we do about the slime? Do we pivot it? You know what I mean? I feel like we need to learn things.
Right, but I was under the assumption that the best way to gather that information or to learn those things was to make contact with the people who live over here.
Well, but it looks like there isn't people that live over here. They live far from here. We see, like, several different types of peoples, perhaps, or settlements, right? So, like, why not learn what we can learn here and then set up camp, and I can switch my spells. We could switch Mr. Crowley's familiar's abilities, right? Brian could.
Yeah, the reason I ask is I'm just wondering what the benefit of the time spent in investigating all those things up there as opposed to just resting and making that spell switch. And
I mean, I'm interested because this seems like a different society. Right? Like, those hovels up there might be tied to the automatons we fought versus I don't know if we're going to see the same culture out there.
Yeah, so it's basically just a question of whether we try to explore more or head back.
Well, does it hurt us? Are we scared that we're giving our position away? Should we douse the light that's coming off of Verrol? All these things are coming to mind. We're like, if we didn't want to alert people to our presence, we should definitely douse that light.
Yeah, we don't really need it.
I mean, just mechanically speaking, Zara sends Mr. Crowley to check out the thing. DM tells us or doesn't tell us something. Oh, we make camp inside where we're not going to be seen. I personally don't think it's a big deal, but maybe you're right. Maybe it's not going to render any information.
Yeah.
It is the least interesting thing. We saw a ton of really interesting things. I'll admit, it's one of the least interesting things, but it's also close to us.
Yeah, why don't we do this? Let's have Mr. Crowley fly around some more. He can go down into the landscape below us. He'll check out, like, the ruins and anything else that's close by. And then that will give us time to just, like, sit and chill and think for a bit. And then maybe that will also inform whether we press on or what we do.
Okay.
Sound good?
So we send Mr. Crowley flying.
going all the way to the ruins would mean going inside the blighted forest area, the vegetation.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, we know a thing or two about blighted forests, don't we?
Are the ruins, is it like full-on forest, canopy cover and everything?
Well, I wouldn't think Mr. Crowley would have to go inside. He would just fly over it, right? He's not going inside anything. He's flying well above.
There's not like leafy canopy. There doesn't seem to be any greenery down there. It's more like wood and just brown vegetation. You can't really see what it is from this distance.
So then, we would just have him fly over and look down.
Yeah, we want to make a good informed decision about, like, because there's a few different settlements we could pursue, but we got to pick the right one.
All right, you set up or huddled together in your cold weather gear for this freezing wind that's blowing by as you wait for reports from Mr. Crowley.
I knew this would come up.
Came in handy.
So Mr. Crowley flies down first, and then you scan the terrain immediately at the base of the mountain. So whereas on the other side it was kind of gradual foothills for a while before it actually hit the mountainside, here it seems like it just shot straight up out of the earth, like there was a fault line or a magical devastation that just raised these mountains up. The ground itself is mostly mud. A lot of it is frozen, but it's not cold enough for it to have completely frozen solid, so muddy, frozen land with like bubbling marsh type, just weird bubbles forming in the mud. It smells disgusting.
Oh yeah, you do have Mr. Crowley's smell, don't you?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see anything living or moving around down there other than the land itself that's bubbling here and there. And then he flies towards the ruins, and you resume your shared senses as he gets close. So what you can see from the sky, these twisted trees, or formerly trees, have grown over the whole town, and just kind of like they're reaching in through the windows. They've ripped off the roofs of the buildings. They've completely encroached on it and destroyed everything, making it basically unlivable there. You can also see that several of the plants are moving around. Like you'll just see a branch move here and there. Some of the taller ones even seem to kind of reach up towards Mr. Crowley slowly as he's flying by.
Oh man,
dang.
Okay, so not a friendly place to visit.
Now, as he flies onward, is the border between the blight and what would be considered normal forest, is it a gradual change, or is it like a discernible line or somewhere in between?
It's gradual, but it doesn't go to completely normal for probably 20-25 miles.
Wow. So that answers my next question, which was, what region does the rope descend into? And I'm assuming it's the blight.
Well, it's in the middle of the muddy wastes with absolutely nothing in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, so there's blight, like, as this waterfall cascades down, it's blight everywhere. So then the other settlements that are not ruined, I assume they're all a safe distance from
the
where
blight.
the line of blight goes. Or maybe, this is why I'm asking this question, my theory is maybe there's a town that the blight is spreading towards and getting close to, and they are the ones who sent their people to try to put an end to it.
The one that's closest would be the one that's near the western ledge.
Okay.
Is that one that Mr. Crowley can look at?
I mean, if you want to send him out 30 miles.
Well, there's no range on this thing for a reason, right?
Well, so, I don't know how far a bird like Mr. Crowley can see, because they might be able to see further than human eyes.
Generally, birds have good eyesight, yeah.
Yeah, they usually do.
Could we look into that? Because, it might be possible to send Mr. Crowley even without the sheer senses. I mean, he's sentient. You can even give him speech, and he could literally report what he sees.
Let's see. Ravens have exceptional vision, and their eyes are positioned in a way that allows them to have a wide field of view and perceived depth.
Under optimal conditions, ravens can likely sustain flight for several hours and cover 200 to 300 miles without needing to land. Regular daily movements for food or migration, their range is 100 to 150 miles.
If we sent Mr. Crowley out to get information and he died, he would resurrect. He would really hate you for sending him on a one-way trip, but wouldn't he retain the information, theoretically?
I would think so.
Theoretically.
That might be really cruel for Zara, and you wouldn't want to do that to Mr. Crowley. Although, I also feel like you have the kind of relationship where you might order him to do that.
Yeah. That's what it seems like. When he came back earlier in the campaign, he had an instant recognition. Like, it wasn't like he was like, "Oh, I'm Mr. Crowley. How are you?" He like knew who he was and who you were. And
right. Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, if we could learn about the other settlement without risking our lives, I'm for it. But it'd have to be a party decision / your decision, Brian. You're the controller of that familiar.
I agree, and the amount of information we'll be able to learn will probably be limited, but being able to just get some kind of precursor would be helpful.
Are there people there?
Right, exactly. Even the question as simple as that would be so helpful.
And then what do they look like, or what is the town like?
Yep.
Yeah, how many people are there? Are they armed?
It might be good if we formulated, like, what questions would we ask Mr. Crowley once you've brought him back and given him speech?
Well, yeah, at that point he has unlimited speech, so we'll just ask him.
Yeah, I think all the ones that you just asked were good.
Mm-hmm. Do they have anti-aircraft missiles?
Right. How did you die? Did you take an arrow to the knee?
He used to be an adventurer like us. All right, yeah, let's do that. Let's send Mr. Crowley out to the closest one. You said it was the one to the south?
The one to the west.
The one to the west, okay, further west.
So it's between the blight and the cliff face.
For the record, I love this. Like, our familiars are becoming so impactful. Like, Braun is our eyes on the other side of the mountain, and Mr. Crowley is, like, able to, like, totally save us so much time and pain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, that's why there's an animal companion in every single Disney movie, because they're so useful, and they're so cute, too.
Yeah, and they always, like, rescue the heroes by, like, getting them the keys or something.
Yep.
This is like one of those moments, Brian.
It's true.
It's a familiar moment.
A familiar sight. So according to the game rules, it would take him a full day of flying to get 20 miles out.
We got the time.
Why don't we send Mr. Crowley out, we rest tonight, we pick what spells we're going to get, you get gentle landing in case we do decide to do that, and then we take the day, let him go out, and let him come back.
This is what we're here for. We don't have to rush down the cliffside. We can take our time. We're not under any pressure.
I'm thinking, like, why Thane is so interested in the timing of things. And I don't think it has to do with this side of the mountain. You know what I mean?
I mean,
yeah,
that's true.
It's a very metagame way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it is, but it's like you're asking us about time all the time lately. So
we came over here expecting to spend some time doing something.
I'm wondering if we don't need to be here anymore if we just send our scout out, presuming that he's going to get exhausted and not be able to come back. Couldn't we start heading back home, and then when he gets resurrected, we get the information?
Well, Zara can't travel when she doesn't have use of her 5 senses.
That's true, yeah.
But you're not, you can't share senses this whole trip at all.
What?
It runs out of time.
Oh, yeah, you can only share senses 1 minute out of every 10 minutes.
So, like, Mr. Crowley is just going to tell us what he sees, was the thought.
You see Mr. Crowley ruffling his feathers indignantly as you...
Yeah, we're not talking about this in front of him. Can you send him away while we plan his death?
Yeah, no, traveling without use of your 5 senses for whatever duration of time is virtually impossible. Like, we can't travel while Zara's doing this.
Mr. Crowley would have to see this with his own faculties, because there's a limited time, therefore limited range of the sheer senses, and I think the familiar needs to be within a certain range for you to refresh that spell. Is that correct, Brian?
There's no range at all.
No, there's no range.
No requirements.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know for sure that he'll be able to give us information after he revives. You know, that's like not a guarantee. So I also wouldn't want to risk that. You know, spend a day traveling back home and then we can't get the information. So
right. So the two paths I see are get the information from Mr. Crowley without shared senses, or use shared senses and we have to guard your body.
Definitely the latter. I think it's better for you to see it with your own eyes, or more guaranteed to have an accurate portrayal in that case.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
Well, and also you can keep Mr. Crowley in check theoretically, right, if he starts to have different plans. I guess you can't. You're just along for the ride.
Yeah, I can't really communicate with him, sadly.
But if he knows that you're watching, maybe he'll be on better behavior.
Yeah, there's a term for that.
While the cat's away, the mice will play.
Yeah, there's a psychological effect. Like if you know that there's a cop, behind you, you drive differently, even if you're not doing anything wrong.
Oh, yeah.
But then the other benefit is if we do decide to go, we need to go down the cliff to blah, 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 then we'll be there, as opposed to traveling back home already.
Yeah, exactly. If he finds out something...
Well, I guess what do we have to learn with this scouting expedition to make us stay? I was kind of under the impression that we don't want to fight through 25 miles worth of blight. Like, we've already fought minor blight. Like, what is major blight going to be? This is blight that's been there for maybe years.
Yeah.
Like, we want to fight through 25 miles of that?
That's why we're sending Mr. Crowley, so that we can make a more informed decision on what we do next.
That's fair. I feel like I don't want to throw away my level 2 character. And like me personally, like the dungeon master's giving me no good feelings about what's out there.
All right. Well, one thing at a time.
Only other thing would be, do we want to check out one of the towns that isn't through the blight?
I thought the blight was like a radius.
Yeah.
I think the town that's closest to the blight is most likely to be the one that sent the people out to try to put a stop to it. That's why I think we should investigate that town.
Okay. Yeah, let's give it a try.
Okay, so what are your exact orders for Mr. Crowley so I can have him see what he's going to see?
Mr. Crowley, be a good lad. Fly all the way to that settlement you see off in the distance, off in the west, near where it drops off the edge of the world for a short while, maybe half an hour, and see what you can see. Try to get a close look at the people and the town itself, and then come flying back.
So it's a day's travel, so it'll take him about 8 hours to get out there and another 8 hours to come back.
Okay.
He would be probably pretty exhausted by that point if he makes it all in one trip.
Yeah.
Especially since this is already after a full day of being awake.
Tell him to keep his distance, like, above the trees to a certain degree.
Right, because they were grabbing for him.
Yeah. Yep.
Keep outside of one range increment of a longbow.
Alright, so you send him off. And in the meantime, you're going back inside?
I think so.
Yeah, I think we should. I don't think we should use the campsite, the abandoned campsite, because that's outside.
Yeah.
Yep. Don't want to draw attention to ourselves, and we have cover from the elements inside.
Yeah, we could make a really nice camp inside here where we've already killed the enemies.
Hey, this would give us more of a chance to toy around with these automatons.
Yeah, that's true.
Stoke, kindly fix one of these automatons and put it in good working order while we wait. And then program it to be my pet.
I wouldn't know the first thing about that, sir.
Well, no time to learn like the present.
I can try inspecting them.
Yeah, we all should. Should use our downtime constructively.
Well, I guess you could make a crafting check.
There's nothing interesting for you to see with Mr. Crowley yet. Do you want to inspect these bots with us, Zara? And then if there's no range to that ability, can't you just warg to Mr. Crowley when he's closer to the destination and you actually want to see what you need to see?
Yeah, that's true. I'd have to kind of like time it and know. So I should probably just check in every 10 minutes anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think it'd be kind of lame if you just like totally lost control of your character for the next X hours of gameplay.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, it's going to take him about 8 hours to get out there, so you could even just go to bed for the night and then check it in the morning, and we'll probably be there by about that point.
Yeah, we should also rest. That's fair. Okay, crafting checks.
Crafting checks.
Stoke actually rolled really high. He says, I mean, I don't know anything about how these machines work, but I could probably piece a few bits back together again.
Oh, nice. Verrol gets a 15.
I rolled a 2.
And Zara got a 22.
Pretty good.
Yeah, between Stoke and Zara, you could probably piece some things back together, but you don't think you could actually get it working again. You could just kind of put some pieces back where they probably go.
Stoke, do you know how much Grandfather would adore having one of these as a museum piece in Harrogate?
He does love his warden technology.
He would be best pleased with a specimen such as this.
Well, if you say so, I'll see what I can do.
Good man, Stoke.
Try to curb your enthusiasm.
I just hope it doesn't come back to life and try to kill us again.
You'll be on your guard for that possibility, I'm sure. Especially while you're carrying it on your back.
Right, so he's fixing up one of the dog-like ones, or trying to.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be like any semblance of being close to working. It just has to look cool.
Just like put 2 heads on it.
Yeah, like if this is awesome, like a Ward Tech relic.
Oh, this is exactly how we saw them. They're double-headed, double launcher. Just like make it look way more ferocious.
Yeah, honestly, he would probably pay thousands of gold for something like this. So to get it free because we found it, he'll be ecstatic. He'll be over the moon. And for that reason, Verrol, the more Verrol thinks about it, the more he really, really wants to bring this home.
I didn't know you wanted to bring him home a present, Verrol.
Well, as I said, one of his chief interests is the wardens and their technology.
So, you camp for the night. Stoke's going to spend a little bit of time trying to fix up one of the machines before he goes to bed for the night as well. And he makes some decent progress. He does the stuff that he can do, which is like hammering out the plates, getting them back into shape, and those sorts of things. Tries to, slide some bolts and gears inside. These probably came from this machine, so I'm just going to throw them into the compartment somewhere.
Nice.
When morning comes, you check in on Mr. Crowley. He's reached the town, and you see him circling above. And the town itself looks relatively normal. It looks a lot like your town back home, but maybe a little bit bigger. Not quite as big as Chetforth, but decently sized, mid-sized town. The people there look
normal, except they have pig noses.
You notice a mix of races. So it's mostly human, but you also see a lot of elves.
Oh.
Otherwise, they seem like any normal people you might expect to find. There is maybe a little bit more of a, not military, but I guess like a militia-style presence. There's a lot more of them that seem to have weapons and armor and things just kind of walking around town.
Are there uniformed guards?
There are a handful, but it's mostly just the regular people with weapons.
And do the fabrics that they're wearing, the clothes that they're wearing, match the specimen we found on the skeleton?
I mean, you'd have to get really close to see the details of the fabric, but pattern-wise, you could say that they're in the same general vein.
Is there a big sign outside the town that says, "Welcome to Lagarde, population 476"?
Not that you see.
Are there any signs on the store fronts that say Lagarde Plastics or Lagarde Tavern?
No, but there are a few signs that you can read, so you can tell that it's written in the same language.
Okay.
Let's see. One of the big things that stands out to you, I guess, in the town is there's a large central fountain with a big statue of what you assume is probably a warden. Has elven features.
Okay.
Wow.
Anything like significant I can tell from it? Any like is there a plaque in front of it with the name of the person or anything like that?
You can see a plaque, but it's written in small writing as if like it was telling a whole story about him, so too small, too far away to see.
Could perhaps Mr. Crowley begin the assault by dropping a few bombs on the personnel? It is a flyover after all.
He's not contactable for such orders for now. After he's circled the town for a while and you've seen whatever you can see in your 3 minutes, he flies out a little farther towards the horizon. Even though you didn't specifically tell him to go there, he's going beyond your orders.
Disobedience.
Insolence.
It takes him another hour or so, but he gets out actually to the edge, and looking down, you just see sky and clouds below.
Whoa.
What?
The edge of the world.
Yeah, are the rivers just like pouring off the edge?
Actually, you don't see any water pouring off, looking in either direction. And you don't see any water coming up to the edge either.
Interesting. I wonder where the Green River flows to.
Actually, I guess I probably should have said that, but looking down from the ledge, you can actually see it leads through the wasteland, and it looks like it pretty much just pools in one area and makes a large lake
Okay.
in the middle of the muddy waste.
I see.
Huh. Interesting.
Very ponderous. And by that, I mean it makes you think, even though that's not what ponderous means.
Since you were sharing senses, like, Zara could relay this info to us way earlier than Mr. Crowley's return.
So I do that.
So yeah, so after he does this pass around the cliff base, he starts flying back.
Okay.
Okay.
And so the edge of the world it just drops off. There's like
Into cloud.
earth and then cloud beneath it.
Yes.
The edge of the world.
Well, I think this means only one thing. We have to divert the stream entirely back in this direction.
I think so as well.
Well, but Verrol, let's try to have a heart, right? I mean...
I do have a heart. I have a heart for my people who live in the Strathbourne Valley.
But we don't know about the people on this side, and they're literally being driven from one town to the next because of this corruption.
Better them than us.
We don't want it to go anywhere.
Of course, but is there even a way to prevent it from going anywhere in the first place? Would you sacrifice the groves for which you care so deeply on account of strangers you've never met?
No, Verrol. I mean, we're seeing what happens after long-term exposure to the filth.
Indeed.
I like that name, by the way, the filth. Let's call it that.
The filth.
Is that name? Yes, we see now that long-term exposure to the filth causes widespread... Yes, is quite filthy.
Causes widespread filth.
It causes widespread devastation. And that is the last thing I wish to bring upon our homes and your groves.
I don't know much about the ley lines like you do, Zara, but it seems like the only thing that can be done to save us and this other part of the world is to heal that ley line or seal it.
And how do you propose we do that?
We don't have the technology.
Yeah, I have no idea. But here's the thing. They weren't able to do it either.
Perhaps we could take the large automaton corpse and shove it into the hole created by the ley line bleeding, and because it is Warden tech, it will work.
And because we believe deep in our hearts.
Yes.
I'm realizing we can't fix this.
Yep.
And no matter where we send the slime, it's causing devastation.
It's a moral quandary. There's no good answer.
No, but it's more than that. We want to change it, and no matter where we send it, it's going to cause us problems. Like, in the end, Verrol, it's going to cause us problems.
There's the herbal business as well to consider.
Did we observe back in the temple, did it seem like the rock was holding and channeling the ooze?
The rock?
Like the
slab of...
The channels that it was going through.
It's not like it wasn't eating away at it, is what you're asking.
Yeah, like, was it a good container, is I guess what I'm asking.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it was wearing through those any more than normal water.
What if we could stop future wars between our part of the world and theirs? What if we built a really, really, really long trough?
There is another way to stop potential future wars. It's called chemical warfare.
What did you have in mind, Verrol?
Stop future wars by starting one now.
Yes. Diverting the stream back 100% in their direction and killing them off.
But that could take years, Verrol.
Years that we can spend minding our own business. We can simply block the passageway back through the mountain and send the stream and wait for it to do its work.
Yes, I'm all in favor of that plan. My only fear is that once we do divert the stream back toward them, the filth back toward them, they will eventually figure it out and likely come back to re-divert it back toward us.
Which is why we block the passage.
Ah, I see.
That was that part of the plan.
Is there a way to block the passage but still allow the filth out?
Towards them?
If we create a large rock pile, then the filth will still be able to flow beneath it, but they will not be able to pass through it.
They actually can't easily get into the chamber because we have the crank.
Right.
That's right.
So what I'm saying is, there's an inevitable conflict, but this conflict presumably is further off than the immediate conflict of the insurrection.
Agreed.
I don't think the poison is going to be fast acting. I don't know if we need to change how we're diverting the stuff. I actually think the opposite. I think we send it all at ourselves.
Steady on, Master Dwarf. Are you toying with me?
No.
Quite daft.
I'm not trying to save our business anymore. I'm saying, can we buy time? This might be like continent on continent warfare. Did they think the same way as us? Did they scout us out before they decided to send the slime to us?
It's inconsequential whether or not they did, because they chose to do it. They chose to
do it because we're weaker than them.
They chose to do it because they wish for their own survival, just like we do.
I don't think they would do something without researching.
Are you giving these people the benefit of assuming their intelligence?
They could have had years of planning, Verrol.
It does not matter. It has no bearing on our current circumstances.
If we divert all the slime to ourselves, we have more time to prepare for how we're going to face this.
We torpedo our own herb business by diverting the stream back to them. Do we play God and say, oh, how much of this can we stand before it starts destroying our entire valley? Or do we just send it all back their way, lock up the room, block the passage, and know that it's going to take them a long time to get through?
But if we're not getting any slime,
then things go back to normal and life is good.
Well, no, just hear me out. We don't have the opportunity for me to bring it to the greater order and see if maybe they have a way to cleanse the poison.
All you need is a sample from the stream. We don't need to divert the entire thing back into our valley to do that.
But we send the full force of the flow over that waterfall. That might even be visual. And they're going to send more than maybe the previous expedition. So, sure, in 20 years... we're poisoned. We're dead. We're corrupted. But 2 weeks from now, they're sending their forces.
Yeah, I'm still not sure why this is even a debate. We send it back to them 100% and we lock it up and we block the passage and keep our scouts in case anybody manages to get through.
Stoke speaks up for a moment here. Sir, if I may, you saw how those stones were moved around at the entrance over there, and he gestures back towards where the two clockwork bodies were. It looks like this place already was blocked off, and they cleared out the passage in order to get through.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think you could do better than that, then maybe, but...
I mean, we do have the crank. To Verrol's point, we've got the crank.
Right. Hypothetically, there's nothing they can do without that crank.
I mean, unless another crank can be made.
Yeah, do we get the sense that it's like a key, there's a specific shape? Or is it just...
It was just a square.
It's just a squarish hole, yeah.
Can we look at it? We have it in our person.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look particularly special. It's just a basic connection.
Okay. And it seems like there's only these two pathways, right? There wasn't well, remember where we fought those creepy crawlies?
The Morlocks?
Could we route the ley line slime into the mountain itself? I know that's not a permanent solution, but could we send the flow into that deep chasm we fought them in?
It's not a bad idea.
Oh, yeah.
That was a deep, dark pit.
Yeah, that's true. My thought just now was digging a trench to reroute this river off the ledge in a different direction. But
that's something we could do for now. I like it. Do we send it to the frozen wasteland, or which way?
Well, we saw towns to the north and south as well, right?
Right. So eventually it would get to any of them.
I mean, if it pours off this cliff, it's probably just going to rejoin the flow down at the bottom where it already is going.
Could we buy time by getting it to pour inside the mountain?
That was a very deep chasm.
That could be a year's worth of time.
If not longer.
If we did that, they think the slime isn't coming to them. They think it's still coming to us. If we act quickly, we could buy enough time to figure out what we're going to do.
Or we could be like most people when it comes to environmental issues, and we just make a temporary solution and then just never think about it
We just forget about it.
Yeah, and we let the next generation deal with it.
If we could buy even 6 months to a year.
Dude, do you know how long a trickle of a stream would have to flow into a chasm that deep in order to fill it up? That's actually that's the plan.
Is that the solution? It was right in front of us?
That's the plan, because then they don't get alerted to it at all. And then they're like, oh, the blight stopped. Cool. We're good.
How soon could we get back there and start digging?
A couple hours.
Okay.
Well, we have to wait for Mr. Crowley to come back, but...
This seems like a legitimate plan.
I agree.
How far are the two? How far is the stream from where we fought the ghouls?
Well, remember that the trench that exists went right along the edge there, so it's a matter of feet. It's 3 or 4 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a few feet, yep.
So that's not hard at all.
We could do this.
Well, I mean, digging through stone is still hard.
Yeah, if it's stone, then yeah, it's going to be hard.
Yeah, and then once the ley line magic pours into that crevasse with unknown consequences, then we just wait and see how long it takes for another sundering. Or another deep environmental disaster that we didn't anticipate.
Or there's like a horde of demons down there and they get super powerful from the ooze.
Right. What's the worst that could happen?
We breed a whole new generation of Thorberfs, except they're all evil and they come and attack us.
I will say those evil sloths, those would be the ones I would presume would get slimed.
Superpowered.
First.
Right, yeah.
So we already know there's locals. Maybe this is a 2-stage effort, where stage 1 is we clear out the rest of that pack. Then we direct the slime into the pit. But in the meantime, what if we direct the slime at ourselves with the intent to send it into the chasm?
Nah, dog. Nah.
Nope. Into the chasm.
We divert the slime, and then we block off the passage toward our direction so that it's easier for them to go in the other direction. So that when they get all superpowered, then they come over here instead.
Well, I'm fine with whatever ends up with it going into the pit.
Yeah, there's no scenario in which diverting it 100% back to our side is the correct play.
Okay. We were fine with it for X amount of time.
Well, because we didn't know the devastation that it would wreak until we came over here and saw it for ourselves.
It would inevitably bring destruction upon us.
I think both cause destruction. I think both alerting our enemies or continuing to poison the grove are both bad. Mm-hmm. And I think one is clearly worse, but you disagree, and that's all right, Verrol. Zara, you agree with me, right?
Nope, I don't.
Stoke?
I can certainly see the wisdom in your thinking, but I'm afraid I must refrain from stating my full opinion on this.
Yeah, you have to vote with Verrol, so you're 2 votes for the same.
Oh, don't be bashful, Stoke. Speak up.
Let's just say that tossing it over the cliff seems like the safest plan. I like that idea.
Okay, can we do that faster? So we don't have to change the flow at all to either side.
We do divert it toward them because that's the side that had the chasm on it. So we divert the flow entirely to them. We dig that channel.
We divert it as far over to this side as we possibly can, in other words.
The chasm stretches for like an hour and a half of walk.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a huge chasm.
Dude, we got so much chasm. So much chasm.
I mean, it starts well before you get to the tunnel that leads to the fountain in the first place.
Wow, I mean, why didn't they think to put the slime into that?
Why didn't you?
Yeah, exactly.
Very chasm, much deep, so slime.
Fair point, Game Master. But, like, why didn't they consider doing that?
Because they're not as smart as us.
Yeah, they're not as intelligent as you give them credit for, clearly.
I thought they were like this highly intelligent, elvish, multicultural.
How do you know anything about them? We saw them through a raven's beady eyes from a mile up. How could you assume anything at all about who they are or what they do or what they know?
They're clearly less intelligent than us and less good-natured than us.
I think it's great that we're going to put it down the pit. I'm glad that we came to this conclusion and we're going to do it.
Great. Let's do it.
Let's save the world.
And it might just kill all those blind Morlock creatures down there.
Or 2 years from now, we're fighting a boss, and it's a super cool fight. And
exactly.
We brought
Win-win.
this upon ourselves.
For sure.
And they're like, you killed my dad a year ago.
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
I'll crush you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Incredible Hulk is what I'm thinking of now.
Yeah.
You know, the other cool option that could happen is that is truly a bottomless chasm because it drops out of the bottom of our continent and it drops onto the continent below us and then infects those people and makes them super strong enemies.
Oh, world shells.
Yeah, dude, it's turtles all the way down.
And then they fly up to us on their flying machines and attack us.
That's true. We did learn that there's an edge of the world and there's like...
Yep.
Like, did Mr. Crowley like fly up under the crust or did he just look over the cliff?
No, he just looked over.
He just looked over the edge.
He should have flown up under. We would have known if we're on a world shell.
No, there was a bunch of
clouds. It's not just a flat plane. It goes down for quite a while.
Yeah, there's a bunch of clouds.
It's just a never-ending cliff and there's clouds and sky.
Clouds, yeah.
Yep,
hampering visibility.
Wow.
But yeah, dude, it would be so awesome if there was just a little hole in the bottom and it all flowed out into nothingness.
Just out into space.
Yep.
Oh, man. This plan seems really good, you guys. Anybody got some tools for this?
Well, Stoke, I, for one, am ready for you to start digging.
Unfortunately, I left my pickaxe at home, sir.
Well,
don't worry, I picked up a +1 light pick from some enemy we defeated. That's a good place to start.
It's hardly the same as a pickaxe.
It's something.
You stay out of this, DM Thane. That is all the tools I have.
What about the halberd?
A halberd, yes, could be used in a pinch.
Weapons in general make very poor tools.
Okay. Wait. If we're not going to go down the cliff, if we rest, I could maybe make tools.
Ooh.
And you might have spells, too. So, shoot. Temporary tool is arcane only. I thought Primal had an equivalent spell. Maybe not.
Well, worst comes to worst, if we don't have the tools and we can't magically make them, we head back to town, get the tools, we bring them back, we dig the channel.
Right.
We lose, a few days, which stinks, but what else can we do?
Yeah, we can't have predicted that we were going to want a pickaxe.
Yep.
I like this. We learned so much. We're deciding not to wade through 25 miles worth of blight and die. I think we go and get the tools.
I concur.
And we get to bring your grandpappy the robot dog.
Which she will greatly appreciate.
You pass your time among the ruined constructs, waiting around all day for Mr. Crowley to return. Finally, he arrives shortly after sunset, flying into the chamber and letting out a soft caw to announce his return, before landing on Zara's shoulder. Upon doing so, he almost immediately closes his eyes, tucks his head into his chest feathers, and seemingly falls asleep.
Oh, poor little guy.
Mr. Crowley, I'm glad you're back safe. I trust you had a good, safe... Oh, okay. He's already asleep.
Long flight.
Yes.
Probably jet-lagged.
Yes, indeed. He's crossed over multiple time zones at this point. What say you, fellows? Shall we head back?
As long as Mr. Crowley feels comfortable sleeping while standing on your shoulder.
Yes, I don't know much about birds, but I think they sleep standing up.
Yeah, I'm pretty anxious to get back, as you guys would guess.
Yes.
I've not been away from Braun for this long.
Yeah, don't you two, start just degrading the longer you're apart from each other? You start disintegrating?
I'm not sure, Zara, because I've not been away from him for as long as this since I can remember.
Well, let's head back before your fingers start falling off.
Yes, that would be good.
All right.
Very good.
We head back into the mountain.
But first of all, it is slightly after sunset, which means you could go through the mountain. You've been resting all day, so it's not like you're tired from walking. But you're probably going to want to camp once you get to the other side.
Yeah, I would think so.
So you head back in, and you make it all the way back to the broken staircase, where you fought the gray humanoids on your way here. But you quickly realize that the rope you left dangling from the top is missing.
Ooh.
What?
Wait, what?
They stole it. What about the pitons we put in?
Or the pitons?
That was just at the top, right? To hold the rope in, so you probably can't see it from this far down.
Do you remember how far up the cliff was?
60 feet, I want to say.
60 feet.
That's a lot of feet.
Can anyone here besides Mr. Crowley fly?
I'm afraid not. I suspect that I will be able to fly at some point, but no, not yet.
The rock face is rough and looks climbable, but will prove challenging without good amount of skill or equipment.
Nothing Stoke can't handle. Isn't that right, Stoke? I slap him on the back.
I mean, I'm a decent climber, sir, but this is quite a long distance, and he looks nervously over the edge downwards. If I fell down, there's no coming back from that.
Rather precarious.
Yeah.
Certainly. Does he have that automaton in his backpack?
Yeah, he's got the
dog one.
Kind of oddly reassembled one.
Okay.
Zara, you and I might have access to a spell that could help.
That's true. Oh, I have this grappling hook gun I almost forgot about.
Yes.
What about the helpful steps level 1 spell, rank 1 spell?
Why don't you read that for us?
Okay, you call forth a ladder or staircase to help you reach greater heights. The ladder or staircase appears in a space you designate and either stands freely or connects to a nearby wall if possible. You decide the height of the ladder or staircase when casting the spell up to a maximum height of 40 feet.
Okay, well...
The ladder or staircase is locked in place and magically supported, allowing you to ascend even if it's an open area. The conjured ladder is simple in design. It's made of wood. Oh, here's something that's interesting. Let me skip ahead. While both are supported and have no risk of falling, whether you make a ladder or stairs, they can be damaged and destroyed as normal. But the key word there is no risk of falling.
Yeah, okay. So we put can you set the ladder so that it's 20 feet up? and then so it goes from 20 feet up to the top at 60 feet, so that Stoke only has to climb 20 feet to get up to it. And then we could maybe even tie a long rope around his waist and put a Peton where we are, so that if he falls, worst case scenario, if he misses the lower ledge, then he's, dangling and we pull him up. He doesn't fall all the way into the chasm.
Right. I mean, we could get, so a couple things. One, for Zara or Kardain to change their spells, we need to sleep and wake up. My thought was maybe one of us takes 2 charges of helpful steps, or Brian and I could both take 1 helpful steps. And then, if we want to keep adventuring, we're only both down 1 spell slot.
I don't think Zara knows that spell.
No, I do not.
Oh, it's up to me then, because I'm a druid, huh?
Yeah, I have to know it in order to prepare it.
Okay, I mean, we could still adventure if I went, helpful steps times 2 and 1 heal. I'd be comfortable. If I'm understanding this spell correctly, and it does have a range of 60 feet, 10-minute duration, couldn't we put 1 that's on the ground, and then I could cast a second ladder that's 20 feet up?
40 feet up.
Yeah, or 40 feet up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could.
It seems like a lot of spell slots, but...
Well, I said, if there's a way to only use 1 spell slot, if we have Stoke climb the first 20 feet while anchored with a rope around his waist, then the risk is less, and then once he gets to the top, he can just drop down a rope for the rest of us to use.
Right, and we use the rope to get to the bottom of the ladder.
Right.
That could work. That would let me greedily save most of my spell slots.
Yes, it would you'd only use 1.
I like this idea.
It's crazy, but it just might work.
Do you guys want to try that?
Yeah, let's backtrack a little bit and make camp and come back in the morning.
Okay.
I like that idea.
So you hike back the hour plus. When you get back there, all of the remaining Guardian construct things are gone.
What? Wait a second.
What in the world?
Who else is up here? We searched the chamber for secret entrances. Where's my character sheet? I make a search check.
So all the parts and scraps and stuff are all gone too?
Yep, all the little pieces. You look around for any openings or any signs of another creature coming around, and there are all those different doorways that are mostly blocked with rubble, but if you look really closely at one of the ones in the north side, you believe that there's a space big enough that you could probably, or a small creature at least, could squeeze in and out. And they could have potentially taken the constructs back in there. There were also all those other openings outside that you're aware of. Other entrances into the mountain.
Could it be a team of tiny mecha gremlins who are maintaining these bots?
What? That is both possible and likely. I was also recalling there were those sort of wall-crawling Morlock creature things.
They're not smart enough to maintain an army of this magnitude and complexity.
Yeah, but I'm also wondering, I think there was another entrance, I think it was at the top of the cliff, the 60-foot cliff, and then across the chasm. There was another little outcropping with an entrance there. I don't know if that was it, but that could be something too.
I don't know if we should give chase, and try to find them. Whoever's taking the robots. I don't know what a robot is. Taking the metal men. Yeah, the metal men.
Yes.
Zara, you and I don't know how many spells you've got left, but I used all 3 of my spells.
Well, it's been a full day, remember?
Oh, I should have new spells. What spells should I have? You're locked and loaded with new spells too, huh, Brian?
I am. You're saying we rested?
No, but when you had the battle, you looked out at night over the land, and then you've rested, and it's been a full day.
Okay, let me just throw together a spell loadout. So I wouldn't have the helpful steps. This would have been, I was thinking about, we were going to head back with Mr. Crowley's return. Okay.
Well, I don't know that we need to go after them like you said. It's more of a diversion. I mean, the worst case is that they fix all of them while we're gone, and then they're here and we fight them again when we come back. But I mean, we know how to handle them now. We know what they're weak to and strong to, right? And resistant to. Well,
it just makes me worried, Verrol. If we're going to try to camp here and they've run off to fix themselves or something, They seemed pretty intelligent. I wonder if they'd be able to do such a thing.
But don't you see, Kardain? If we can find out who's maintaining them, then we can discover the secret to their operation.
So you're saying we should go after them?
Not now, but when we come back.
Okay,
we don't want to leave Braun by himself, for one thing.
No, I mean, I want to go back to Fallsdale and see how he's doing. I'm just thinking, do we want to rest in a cave where we could be attacked at any moment?
Well, we'll set someone up to keep watch, as we always do. That will ensure that we aren't taken unawares.
Yeah, me and the lady Zara need our beauty rest so we can get some good spells tomorrow morning.
You particularly.
Speak for yourself, yes. And Verrol and I high five. Yes, let's still rest here. Let's follow the plan. We'll keep watch and be prepared for any battle that may come our way.
So you make camp once again, and you hear whoever's on watch at several points during the night. There are distant sounds of
power tools.
Of metal clinking.
Sounds like a pit crew in there.
You hear some metal clinking, but it's hard to make out exactly where it's from. It's just kind of echoing all around the room.
We decimated their numbers, right?
The ones that were in that room, but we don't know how many more there could be.
I do not know the extent.
Right, but nothing attacks you during the night. So you wake up in the morning and set off once again back to town.
Yes, indeed.
I'm sure they'll be ready for a fight by the time we return. Perhaps we should arrange the stones near the entrance to the chamber so that we have cover next time we enter.
That's not a bad idea.
A makeshift wall of sorts, like a sandbag wall but made of stones, so that we can...
Stone wall.
Yeah, kind of like a sandbag wall but made of stones. Some might call it a stone wall. Some might call it a wall of stone, if you want to get fancy.
That's a bit too much of a stretch.
Yeah.
That's a stone too far, if you ask me.
It's a stone's throw away from normal. We could sort of fortify the area. I don't know if it's worth the time. What do you think?
Yes, but that would require manual labor.
Yes, I know. Stoke, kindly form a wall of stone in the entryway, please.
You don't want to make Stoke do that by himself. I'll help you, Stoke.
Sure, I'll lend a hand. Lady Zara, you be the moral support and the foreman, as it were.
Yes, or forewoman.
And for the forewoman, you instruct the construction crew.
So where exactly are you setting up these fortifications?
We want to do 3 walls, one between the 2 pillars near the entrance, and then 1 wall each between the 2 pillars and the wall, so it's like a C-shape wall near where the entrance is.
Entrance to the tunnel?
The entrance that we came from, yeah.
Okay.
So on the right side of the chamber, the east side. And if we don't have enough stones readily at hand to do all of that, then I'd say we just build up like a sloped wall, like at right angles to each of the 2 pillars, so that we have like a little bit more than just like a narrow pillar to take cover behind.
You could probably build a low wall in that C shape around the entryway.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
That was a lot of hard labor. We still want to climb the cliff?
I'm knackered. Maybe we do that throughout the night. Because, 12 hours rest is 8 hours sleep, so we could do like a couple hours in the evening and then a couple hours in the morning.
Maybe whoever is like up and doing the watch is also tasked with working on the stone wall.
Yeah, it would keep you awake. Of course, it would keep everyone else awake too, but...
True.
Yeah, that would affect everybody's sleep. That's true. Every time you place another stone.
Right. I guess moving rocks could be a downtime activity of sorts.
It's probably best to do during the day. Everybody can pitch in at the same time. We're not keeping each other awake and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, the area between the 2 pillars is already choked with the rubble, so it's really just a matter of extending it on the sides.
Yeah.
Sure, I'll say that when you get up in the morning, you spend, an hour or so redistributing stones to get a decent cover that you could kneel behind.
Okay. Yeah, those 2 gaps between the pillars, or at least one of them, we were getting sniped through a lot in the last battle, so...
Brian, wasn't that a free day while we were waiting for Mr. Crowley, where we could have tried to identify the necklace with the knives on it?
That's right. Yes, it was.
Yes.
What's the cast time on it? Couldn't Zara, try right now?
It's 10 minutes to try to identify something.
We can spare 10 minutes. We just spent hours building a stone wall.
Oh, so I'll do that while you guys are building the wall.
Yeah, I mean, you're just sitting there, so...
Yeah. All right, I wave my hand over the necklace.
It's got to be a sweet necklace. I mean...
It has knives on it.
Yeah, that's just a really cool fantasy necklace. I'd be surprised if it didn't do one thing.
Only people who mean business wear necklaces with knives on them.
Okay, you try to identify it, but you can't come up with anything.
Shucks.
Bummer. All right, let's try again when we get back to town.
Is Zara using a particular skill when she tries to identify? Is there like a choice that she has, or is it always an arcana check to identify a magic item?
It's arcana, nature, religion, or occultism, depending on either the school, the tradition of magic of the item, or if it doesn't have a tradition, then whatever you want.
Okay, so then the DM chooses which skill that she is going to use.
Yeah, that's the easiest way to handle it.
It's stone knives.
So you could try.
That makes me think nature.
Yeah, it could be nature.
Zara, let me see that necklace. Let me give it a try.
Sure, let you try too.
Kardain, why don't you take a water break and give it a try?
Oh, yeah, I could use a break.
Your head tattoo is beginning to sweat.
Oh, wait, I don't have my tattoos yet.
Oh, okay. Your large widow's peaks are beginning to sweat.
There is a lot of real estate up there. I can understand why you can see the sweat.
Have you ever considered putting something up there? Some artwork? Hanging some tapestries or something?
You have quite a bit of room.
I mean, it's just a bit of genetics in my hairstyle. I slice it myself. My hair.
I see.
But I think Jay's got a good point. Maybe, Brian, we should rotate between different skills until it gets ID'd, because it's like we don't know if it's Arcana or...
Since it's a GM roll, I would just pick whatever the necessary skill is and roll it for you.
Oh, okay. But Zara and I should keep taking turns with the necklace, because it could actually be easier on Kardain. We don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't know. Which is so much more realistic than in older editions, right? Like, hey, let me take a look at that. Let me see if I recognize anything about it.
So, there's probably more details that you could still learn, but you figure out that you can pull knives off the necklace, and they will grow into a full-size dagger.
Ooh. Nice. I think that's one we theorized about, right?
Yes, that's what I thought it was.
I seem to remember us talking about that.
I pull off a stone knife and
No, don't do that.
Let him finish reading the description first.
Yes.
So actually...
When you do, it explodes and deals 76 fire damage.
It turns into not just
any old dagger.
Daggers that could be used in melee or as throwing weapons. Either way.
That's what I was hoping.
Now, does he know whether the daggers regenerate or if it's a quantity that once it's used, it's used? And how many daggers are on the necklace?
It sticks around for as long as you're holding it, and then if we put it down, it fades away a few seconds later and will reappear on the necklace.
Oh, that's so cool. Oh.
Necklace of infinite blades.
Yeah.